Hey, good afternoon, everyone. It's Ernest with Garden South of Jitterbug Farms. I was outside today and kind of thinking about different projects I wanted to work on. The list is like ridiculously long, and you think there's just so much time in the day that you're going to get so many things done. It just doesn't happen. So I tried to come up or devise a way that I'm going to figure out how to get my projects done without falling further behind. So I'm a guy that's kind of task driven, so I find that lists work really well. I don't know if you guys are like that or not. So if you guys have any ideas on how best to organize your day, I'm always open to any ideas. It needs to be quick and efficient, and I'm a visual person too, so I need to see I need to kind of see how that works, how what works for you guys and what will be efficient for me. But anyways, so I just kind of wanted to talk to you about a project I was working on today. So in the front of one of my gardens, there is a light pole that has a security light on it, and I put like a boxwood square around it, and it's got some elevated rose standards around that. And then there are 4 big iron coco lined baskets. And I never have been a real big fan of coco lined stuff, just because I don't like the way it looks. It looks, it's supposed to look natural, but it kind of looks unnatural to me. So I'm not a big fan of it, but it is what it is, right? It's kind of like what's out there. And moss lined things are so expensive, they really are. But I went to one of my buddies that owns a florist and asked for some natural green sheet moss. He ordered it in for me, so I got it at a really good price. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these 4 baskets, and the coco liner is fine. It's not deteriorated. It's only a year old. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line the basket first with the green sheet moss, and then put the coco liner back in there, and then I'm going to plant it up. I picked up some different heucherellas, and I got some real pretty white and green saponaria. What else did I find? This cute little yellow poppy. What else did I find that I was going to use? Oh, I've got some cuttings that I did of some ivy, so I'm going to pop that in there in these hanging baskets. It looks like the verbena that was in there last year from last summer. It made it through the winter. Blows my mind. Stuff like that made it through, but stuff that was supposed to be winter hardy did not. What else have I got that I can throw in there? Oh, and I have a bunch of forced pink hyacinths. So I'm really just planting these up for spring. And then of course I can pop the hyacinth bulbs back out, plant them out into the landscape when the saponaria gets done doing its thing. Hopefully I got botanical names right on that. I'll put those out in the landscape. Poppies will eventually go dormant, so before they go completely out, I'll find a place to put those out into the landscape. These heucheras will take, it says pretty much all day sun, and these baskets are out in a lot of sun, but there is some dapple shade from the Yoshino cherry trees that are by that. So I may leave those in there and just add some petunias. So I'll show you what I'm going to do and the baskets that I'm getting ready to pot up, and we'll go through phases like I do in my other videos. All right. All right, so here we go. Okay, so these are my plant selections. I'll just go through them one by one. This is the little poppy I was talking about. This is obviously a Monrovia plant. This is a Spring Fever Yellow Iceland poppy. It says full sun. Obviously it's perennial. Has these cute little yellow flowers on it, and it has these neat little seed heads. That's why I haven't taken these off yet. So just kind of show you. So I got 4 of those. And then this is the common name of this is like soapwort or something. This is like a saponaria, I think that's what it's called, soapwort. Saxifragia is what it is. I picked this up at like Home Depot. Anyways, it's 6 to 9 inches. It says part sun, so it should go fine in that dappled area that I've got. I like this. Look at this little, look how small that flower is. And then I like the little green veining in there. I thought that was nice. And then I've got these Foamy Bells Heucherella. This one's called Catching Fire. So that one's pretty nice. And then this Heucherella is in full bloom, much larger. And this is crazy because this one was like $8.98, so like $9. These great old big things were $12.98, so just a few dollars more. Much bigger pot, much bigger plant. I'll have to reduce that root ball down quite a bit to get it to fit in the hanging basket, but it'll be nice. You find plants like this and you get down looking in here, see the crown, you could actually divide this thing up multiple times if you wanted to. Anyways, this one is, let's see if it's got a name. Just says Coral Bells Heucherella. I think it's that pink fizz one, maybe. And then these are the pink hyacinths that I had. Came in trays of 12, and I ended up getting like, how many trays of these things did I get? 2, 4, 6, 6 trays, and there's 12 in a flat. So I'm just gonna pop like 3 or 4, or however many I can fit in there, just to give it some color and some scent. And then this is my filler. This basically is an ivy called let's see, Heterohelix. What is this one? Heterohelix. It's a miniature ivy of some sort. Anyways, I took cuttings of this over the Christmas break and ended up with these nice little plugs. It did get singed a little bit by the cold, but I mean, you know, if you were to go buy that, you'd get that in a little pot right now for $4.98, but you know, they're free to me to cut. And there's 2 varieties in here. This, I do know this one is Royal Hustler. I use this one on my topiary forms, which I absolutely love. It's dense and green. Pixie, that's the name of that one. This one's called Pixie. So anyways, it should fill up the baskets really nice. Anyways, I'm gonna put the baskets together into the next phase, and then we'll go from there. Should be some nice looking baskets when I get done. All right, so here's the basket I'm starting with, and you can kind of see, so they're fairly good size. Just kind of put my hand up there to it so you can kind of see. I think these are probably 20-inch baskets, iron baskets. They were my mom's. I've had them for a while. I don't even think they make baskets like this anymore. They're braided or twisted iron, and the coco liners. And then I got these really neat hangers from the greenhouse, Big Bloomers Flower Farm. They probably still have them. Really inexpensive, and I like it better than chains because they don't twist up. But you can kind of see in here there's some leftover ivy in here, and there's the verbena. That is the petunias. All survived, and some weeds. So I'm gonna get these cleaned out and go on to the next phase. Okay, so we're at our next phase. I've lined the basket and gave an overlap because I'm gonna eventually tuck this over like this, so you'll see, or you'll see the rim of the wire, but you won't see the edge that I covered up. And you can kind of see how it's gonna look. It's a nice wire, the black wire showing through, and that green moss. Doesn't that look better than that coco liner? I just think it looks better. So anyways, I moistened my soil and packed it down because I wanted to get a good form at the bottom. You don't really have to do that if you don't want to. And then took the old coco liner, put it back in there just to get another season out of that. And the coco liner, of course, once I put the moss in there, was bigger than it needed to be. So I mean, because I'm not going to use it another season, more than likely, I just pulled it apart and overlapped it a little bit there like that. Primary function was just to hold the soil in. So now I'm getting ready to plant it, and I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of plant tone or biotone, whichever one I have in the container nearby me. I'm gonna grab one of those, put just a little bit of that in there to feed the plants as they go along. And hopefully I'll get a couple months out of this until it's petunia season, and we'll see how they look. All right, stay tuned. Okay, so I thought I'd show you this. I took this plant out of a pot, and this thing has got a really nice root system. So we're gonna have to reduce this by quite a bit, salvage those verbenas just because, that petunia, just because I'm curious to see what I can get out of them. So I'm gonna reduce this down and then show you what it looks like when I get it reduced down, because I can't do it one-handed and hold the camera. But hold on, and I'll show you what I did. Okay, so I reduced the root mass. You can see there's two nice clumps in here. I can't believe they put that many plants in this and sold it for what it was. But anyways, if I put that in there, there's not going to be a lot of room for anything else. They're going to be really packed. I'm gonna try it and see what all I can get in there. Just because I do want them to look really full instantly. And worst case scenario, I could crop off a lot of the lower little leaves that are these look a little tattered, from being in transport. But I mean, we'll give it a whirl. Let me see what I can come up with first, and then I'll explain to you what I did. All right. But that was the root ball. That was the mass of soil, which was basically their soil was bark. The plant was happy though. It's definitely got to be the irrigation and the feeding. So here we go. Okay guys, here we go. Here's what I ended up with. So I did not reduce the plant in the center, the large heucherella, the one that was blooming pink. I think it's pink fizz. I really do think that's pink fizz. Not sure 100%, but confident that it might be. And then here is the little Iceland poppy and the saxifragia, which I think looks really good. I like the way the contrast of that light green goes up against that veining. And then here's my little ivy starts that I did, and I popped in a hyacinth here. And then around on this side, this is my other heucherella. So I like the way that the leaves are contrasting here. You see that? And then there are 3 hyacinths here. And I love them in this tight bud form. And then here is 2 more of the little ivy starts. And you'll see that this is a little more open here, where some of the sheet moss is showing, and a little exposure of the bulb. I kind of like that look there, right? And then I think I skipped this one, but I got 1 bulb stuck over here. So really there's 5 of those hyacinths, 1 of the large heucherellas, then the small heucherella over here that has the limey colored chartreuse yellow, and then the Icelandic poppy and the saxifragia over here, and then my little ivy. And when you kind of step back and look, I think it turned out pretty good. Turned out pretty good indeed. So I'm going to put the hanger back on it. Now I got to repeat this 3 more times. It took me a little longer to get this one done just because I was fussing with it quite a bit. And I wanted it to look really good. But once I get the other 3 done, get them hung back up, there's some weight to this. So these hang on some pretty stout hangers. And like I said, these iron hangers that I got from the greenhouse from Big Bloomers, you can get that there. All these plants, see, I picked this one up, this Iceland one. I picked this one up at, let me think. I grew the ivy myself. I picked the bulbs up at Lidl. Actually, they had them on special. I think you get 12 bulbs for $8. This was $12.98. This was $8.98. This was $4.98, $5.98, because you got to pay for that Monrovia name. And I got an entire case of this moss from the florist, from Floral Designs by Eddie, so you can pick that up from him if you need that. The ivy, you just have to probably find the color that you want. I actually think a yellow ivy would be even better with that, but I didn't have any of that. So I just went with what I had. So the green, I think it'll look just fine. Again, this is for spring. The bulbs eventually will bloom, they'll be gone. The Icelandic poppy will go away and go dormant until later in the fall of the year. Maybe it'll bloom later in the fall, if not again next spring. Same thing with this. This will bloom spring, summer, then go dormant. This will do its bloom thing sporadically through the summer, and it stays evergreen for the most part. Same thing with this Heucherella right here. Everything is perennial. Everything gets used at least the second, third, and fourth time. So yeah, so that's the kind of planting I do. So anyways, this is how it turned out. I'll do one more closing video on this and let you see how it turned out. All right. What do you think of my hanging baskets I made for spring? Of course, they'll change out for summer, but do you like? Yes or no? Okay guys, so I have finished all 4 hanging baskets, and here's how they turned out. Let me give you a close-up. So again, here is the pink Heucherella. Again, I'm not sure if that's pink fizz or not, but it turned out really nice. And then here is the yellow foliage Heucherella. I ended up putting, I think, 5 of these really pretty pink hyacinths in there. These are forced bulbs, so I did not plant these in the fall, of course. But they're forced bulbs, really inexpensive. This is the Icelandic poppy. These are the little ivy pixies, pixie ivy that heterohelix pixie that I started from cuttings. And I did go back and add this. I had these cuttings from, I think this is a pink clematis, and I'm not sure which one it is, but I thought it'd be kind of cool to let it just grow up this for, you know, it's not going to be too invasive, I hope. But anyways, short-lived, probably in this basket. And then this saxifragia, this white saxifragia. So anyways, they're looking for some water. They're drooping down a little bit. Thought it was going to rain, and they're all pretty much identical. So basically 3 bulbs. And if you'll notice, I put the bulbs, they're kind of, the bulb is exposed at the top. So at this point, it's not going to hurt. It's not going to illustrate day to day too. Anyways, so the bulbs are exposed, so they're going to go through their bloom cycle. It'll be really easy to pop these out when they're done, and pop in some petunias and continue on with the basket until they start to look really bad. If they do, then I'll just make some revisions to it, but plan to leave the ivy in there. Probably the clematis, probably the sucra. I'll take the poppy out, I'll take the saxifragia out, and of course, the hyacinths, and put them out into the garden. But I think they all turned out really good. Let's see, it took an entire box of that moss to do these 4 big baskets with the coco liner on the inside. So I'm real pleased with them. I think they add a nice look for spring. I'll get them hung up and give you a final snapshot of how they turned out. The whole project took me from cleaning out the baskets and getting all the plants broke down and getting the baskets lined, putting the design together. It took me about 2.5 hours to do these 4 baskets. So not too much time invested to end up with something like this to hang on the pole. So, all right, stay tuned.